So if you remember during the height of coronavirus, travel is discouraged. It doesn't matter if you can't see.
Okay.
Travel was kind of discouraged, but I had 192 coronacation. Like the casino said you can't come in. In fact, there was some staff that wasn't allowed to come in. Like some office staff, they wanted to come in and organize their office, and they were turned away. So there was no going into work. So I said towards the end, I'm going to go on a road trip to Oregon and back. So I packed up the dog and a tent, and I got in the car and I traveled west. And I had a plan. I was going to go to, first place was the Black Hills and the Mountain Rushmore, which Mountain Rushmore I'd never been to. But the end destination was my great aunt Ruth out in Oregon. She lived in the Portland area. My great aunt Ruth, she's deceased now, but she was 98 years young at that time. And I was able to go to her 100th birthday party. She died at 100, pretty close to 102. But even at the ripe age of 98 years young, she would tell the same stories occasionally, but she didn't get confused. She lived independently. She had her son who lived about 15 minutes away. We did her grocery shopping. So I traveled all the way there. I went to, I went there, then I went to Rocky Mountain National Park, and then I went to, Glacier National Park. That was my favorite one. I went to Lake McDonald. In fact, the picture on my email and on Canvas is pictured myself and Walter and myself on Lake McDonald. Then I got to Oregon and I hung out with my great aunt Ruth for 12 days. And she kind of had me, like, I cleaned her house for her and cooked her every day. And we kind of thought about it. And I don't think I'd ever actually met her before. So that was the first time I'd actually, we thought maybe when I was younger I might have ran into her. But then I went back and I went by Crater Lake. And then I went to a couple places in Idaho. There wasn't a lot to do in Idaho. Then I went to Grand Tetons, and I got snowed on Labor Day. And I was not prepared for snow because I was ready for summer. Then I stayed somewhere, so I rented a cabin for Walter and I in South Dakota. It was still snow on the ground. Then I made it up to North Dakota, and then I went back down to Iowa. All in all, it was about a 40-day road trip. And when I finally got recalled, I talked to my colleagues and I was like, what did you do with your trip? What did you do with your coronacation? And they all got coronacations. I was like, yeah, I just sat and did nothing. And they could have done so much. So travel is super important. You should all go do it, even if you can't really travel internationally. So there you go.